Hello, everybody. My name is Bill Peroni. Um, the topic that I wanted to discuss, or the question that was brought to my attention, is something that, not that I'm passionate about. It's a big topic in today's world right now, and talking about police brutality and whatnot. My original question was, do you think police brutality is as prevalent as people think it is nowadays? Obviously, it's no secret. You see police brutality on a daily basis on social media. Um, you see all the negative aspects of law enforcement on a day to day basis online. Just a background on me, I know most of you probably know this. Um, I'm a police officer. I've been a police officer for about 4 years now. I'm assigned to a small undercover unit, um, primarily working in the city of Detroit. I'm also on the SWAT team. So, I get to see this firsthand. And as I kind of dove, a little further into this topic, my parallel study was about justifiable homicides by police every year. So if you break down the numbers, it's kind of shocking. Like I said, you never see the good side of police typically on the news. Everyone typically wants to see the bad side and expose what's wrong with police officers, which I have nothing against. You have to expose what happened. Taking a life, a justifiable shooting, is no small task. And unfortunately, I've come close a few times to having to defend myself or defending somebody else. Thankfully, I've not um, had to do that yet. But it's a very real thing, and I could say I can speak for probably 99% of the officers. It's something they do not take lightly. Um, but just diving into some of the numbers, I wasn't too shocked as a police officer knowing these things, but someone that doesn't deal with this on a day to day basis, I could see how it would kind of be a little shocking to them. So just rough numbers, because like I said, the internet's flooded right now with studies on this, and police brutality and segregating it by race and whatnot. But I kind of wanted to dive in just on the justifiable homicides each year. So just a little background. There's probably around, they estimate, this studies on the internet estimate 240 million calls for service a year for the police. I mean, just let that sink in. 240 million calls for service come into the police through 911 annually each year. That's across the entire United States. And out of those 240 million calls, about 57,000 cases of police officers being assaulted are recorded. Now, again, I can only speak on this from personal experience. I've been assaulted multiple times on the job by suspects, and sometimes you just brush it off. Sometimes you don't even report it. You get hit in the face, or if something happens, you get spit on, which is technically considered an assault. You don't report. So that's a modest number, in my opinion. 57,000 reported assaults. Out of those 57,000, 16,000 of those officers reported injury to them. The extent of the injury, I don't know. But to dive into the justifiable homicide portion of this conversation, give or take, the numbers have shockingly been pretty average throughout the past 10 years, I think. I did the research on it from 2010 to 2018. Right around 1,000 people are shot and killed by the police every year. So 1,000 people out of 240 million calls for service a year. Again, obviously, it's never good to take a life if you don't have to. But out of those shootings that I divulged from 2016, I believe 97% of those officer-involved shootings were justified, meaning, quote unquote, it was a good shoot, meaning the officer did nothing wrong, he didn't violate any policy, he was defending himself, or he was defending others in the community. So out of those 1,000 shootings, 97%, so 97 out of 100 essentially, were justifiable homicides by police. So going back to my original question in the parallel study, is police brutality, in this case, police shootings, as justifiable as people think? No, absolutely not. It's just glorified in the news every day, and whatnot like that. It's just it's not prevalent whatsoever, and I think the data kind of backs that up, that it's not prevalent. So.